Hello, everyone. Welcome to the January Lower Providence Township Zoning Hearing Board meeting, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for our roll call, Gary Brown.
Here.
Travis DeCaro.
Here.
I'm Chris Gertis, and I'm here. Mark Kuberski.
Here.
Joseph Pucci. Here. Rusty Raymer is not here, and he's excused. James Rager. Here. Keith McLennan.
Here.
Okay, tonight we have a little bit of a different agenda to start. This is our annual reorganization meeting for the board and our solicitors and conflict counsel. So I'm going to ask initially for Keith to run the meeting to appoint a chair.
Good evening, everyone. At the reorganization, how this happens is the board has to be reconstituted. So as a consequence of that, I'm serving as temporary chair to make a nomination that Chris Gertis serve as the chair for the upcoming year. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor of that selection signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Fooled another group. It's back to you.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, I'm going to nominate Joe Pucci as our vice chair. Do I have a second for that nomination?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Congratulations, Joe. And for our solicitor, which is our primary solicitor for the board, I'm going to nominate Keith McLennan. Do I have a second for that nomination?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Great, thank you. And we're going to appoint two conflict counsels. The first one is Mike Fury. Do I have a second for that nomination?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? And our second conflict counsel, I'd like to nominate Eric Fry. Do I have a second to that nomination?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, thank you. And with that, we are going to start the normal business, but we're going to go slightly out of order. We're going to start with the fifth hearing on the agenda, HT Associates and Gary. I'm sorry, before we do that, we need to read our statement. Thank you.
The Zoning Hearing Board will give all interested parties an opportunity to ask questions and testify in connection with the applications being heard tonight. After a witness for the applicant completes testimony, you will be given an opportunity to ask questions of that witness. In addition, after an applicant has completed its case, you will also be given an opportunity to testify, which will require you to be sworn in as a witness. If you wish to participate in the hearing on an application, you should complete the entry of appearance form, which would be provided to you by the zoning officer, Mike Brzezinski, here to my left. We ask your cooperation in maintaining silence during the hearing so that both the board and the court reporter can hear the testimony of the witness. We also ask that all cell phones be turned off.
Thank you, Gary. And now, with that, we're going to start with the fifth case, the fifth hearing on the agenda. And Gary, if you could read that also.
Z-25-13 HTC Associates LLC, 357 Level Road, Collegeville, PA, 19426. Applicant seeks interpretation to determine whether the damage meets the definition of substantial damage and substantial improvements. The applicant also seeks determination if the building meets the definition of a non-conforming use under the terms of the Floodplain Conservation District 143-188, together with any other relief deemed necessary or appropriate by the board. The parcel ID of the subject property is 43-00-00580-00-7. The subject property is located at 3616 Arcola Road and is in the R2 Residential Zoning District. This matter was continued from October 23rd, 2025.
Okay, thank you, Gary. So for this particular case, counsel representing the applicant as well as the township have requested a continuance to March 23rd. And so, Keith, I'm going to ask if you could just highlight that request.
Right, there's been a number of emails and correspondence associated with this case because it is a contested case, and as a consequence of that, due to the number of witnesses and the evidence that needs to be introduced, the parties have agreed to a March 23rd date from which to conduct the hearing. They've all agreed that they would do so and waive the time constraints of the MPC. And from that perspective, it conforms with our standard operating practice of allowing the continuance so that the judicial economy can be maximized by them ultimately having the hearing in one sitting, if at all possible, without burdening the rest of the folks who otherwise might be here waiting. So from that perspective, we would ask for a continuance, a motion to continue that hearing that was otherwise on the agenda for this evening until March 23rd.
Okay, thanks for the summary, Keith. And I would like to make that motion that we continue the hearing, Z-25-13, to a special meeting on March 23rd here at the Township. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, thank you. And so that's continued to March 23rd. And with that, we're going to go back to the top of the agenda. And Joe, if you could read the first application first.
It's Z-26-02, Audie Thomas, TBM Management LLC, 23 North Trooper Road. Applicant is requesting an extension to the conditions of an expiration of a prior zoning hearing board decision that was granted in December of 2021. The applicant proposes the construction of a single-family dwelling on an unimproved lot. The parcel ID of subject property is 43-00-08836-00-4. The subject parcel is located at 2621 Montgomery Avenue and is in the R2 residential zoning district.
Thank you, Joe. Is Audie Thompson here? Thomas here? Sorry, thank you. If you could approach. And sir, are you representing yourself?
Yes, I am.
And you're the owner?
Yes,
Okay. And you're not counsel, right?
I am not.
Okay. We're going to need to swear you in, and if you could.
Sir, you solemnly swear testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and spell, please, for the board.
Audie Thomas, Audie
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, and generally what we do when we have a presentation that's not represented by counsel, we ask Mr. Mrzinski to just kick off the presentation for us so the board can get a little bit of background in the application.
Thank you. Good evening. For the board's consideration is a request for an extension of the decision that was issued in December of 2021, granting the requested relief for the construction of a new house on the Paper Street, Montgomery Avenue, just off of Trooper Road. The request was granted at that time, but as the board is aware, with the events of 2021 being well within the COVID pandemic, the process moved slower than it would have ordinarily. At this time, the property owner is ready to move forward with the plans as the relief was granted in the same fashion, and thus is asking for basically an extension of the previous decision.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So, Mr. Thomas, can you tell us about the property and any additional information you'd like to share from what Mr. Mrzinski just...
And what took you so long?
He summed it up very nicely.
Well, COVID was over in 2022, wasn't it?
Yes, but the effects and such and changes it made to life.
Just so that you know, I mean, the reason the rule exists is because you have to act on your application and your approval. So you give the board a little bit more so that they can say, okay, we get it.
Okay, the COVID did set things back, and I'm now working in a different job than I was back then because of COVID.
So did you lose your job? Is that what happened, or you?
I was laid off, and they weren't calling back, and they weren't calling back, and they weren't calling back, and I eventually said, you know what? Maybe I better go see if there's something else out there. And I found another position.
So that set you back in terms of the affordability, I presume, of doing this project? Is that what it was?
Affordability at that time, yes, and my plan is to put a modular home on the foundation, and
Is that the same as it was before?
that's the same as it was before. The working with the modular company ended up taking much longer than I expected it to. And it was well over a year going back and forth with them over floor plans and details, and did you count the number of windows correctly, and just a lot of things.
But you also had an approval in 2004 that nothing happened on, isn't that right?
That wasn't me. That was previous.
When you say it wasn't you, who was it?
The owner of the property back then was Tornetta, I believe.
Okay, so you acquired it thereafter.
Yes.
And then you acquired it as TBM, is that my recollection?
Yes, TBM.
Okay, and I saw some email or traffic on this. You dissolved TBM or you transferred the property from TBM to yourself?
The TBM was the other half of TBM was my brother Don. And I bought him out and we dissolved TBM.
And that's why it's now in your name?
That's why it's now in my name,
Is it in anyone else's name?
my wife.
Okay, so can we amend the application to include your wife? Because obviously, we don't want to provide any relief, if the relief is granted, to just one person, without the other person being
That's fine.
inclined to agree, which we presume that she would.
Yes.
So, okay, the friendly amendment to the application to include, what's her name?
Her name is Teresa, without the H, Teresa, and she hyphenates the last name. I'll spell that. BEISHLINE-Thomas.
And you're representing to the board that she approves of the application as well?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Chair, but you folks have questions?
So, questions I have, everything that you or TBM presented back in 2021 that is referenced in the opinion and decision order from Z-21-14, everything's exactly the same, nothing has changed?
Nothing changed.
Okay.
We plan to do exactly what we were going to do back then. The only change that I'm aware of in the neighborhood is one of the adjoining properties used to be my dad and mom. Dad passed on, and now my nephew, who is here, is the owner of that property.
And there were, looks like 6 conditions that were applied to the decision. All 6 of those conditions are still valid, and you're still going to conform to those?
Yes.
Do you want to, should we read those, Keith?
I think we're going to put them in the order for sure, so you might want to hear them so that you know what they are.
I'm gonna just read them. The first one, there's no parking on the shared driveway. The ordinance to permit the construction of a single-family home with a side yard setback of 10 feet where a minimum of 20 feet is required was granted. The following conditions: there's no parking on the shared driveway. The application also permits the construction of a single-family home with a rear yard setback of 25 feet, where a minimum of 60 feet is required. You okay with that?
Yes.
The application allows construction of a single-family home with a front yard setback of 25 feet, where a minimum of 50 feet is required. That was also granted. Okay, the application approved a variance to permit the construction of a single-family home with a lot width of 80 feet where a minimum of 100 feet is required. That was also granted.
Yes.
Then the application for a variance from another section of single-family home with shared driveway access and without the construction or improvement of the paper street from the lot to North Trooper Road is granted with the following conditions. There should be no parking in the shared driveway. And the approval of the side, front, and rear yard setbacks shall not be deemed an approval of a reduction in the impervious coverage requirements.
Yes.
Okay, and then-
You're nodding, meaning, okay, fine.
And then the final variance from section 143-145 regarding non-conforming lots to permit construction of a single-family home with shared driveway access in accordance with the foregoing relief, and that was also granted. So those were the 6 variances and conditions that were approved.
And I'll add another condition, because we have a new condition. It's basically similar to what you've already heard, but we do have, since 2021, we have a condition that we put in all of these, which is construction placement shall be as per the application, testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case. But of course, you didn't really introduce too much of that here. But what we're going to do is rely upon the previous application if it's granted. And you have no objection to that, I presume.
I have no objections.
And Michael, you still have that folder, I'm sure, that file, and you have, you've looked at that and you have no objection either, I presume, right?
That's correct.
So we're going to incorporate what was in the TBM file to this file, that we're consistent and there's continuity. You're okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, does the board have any other questions?
Just a question, being a modular home, is there any issue with that being in this district? Is there any restrictions to a modular home?
I should point out that a modular home is not a mobile home. It's a home that's built in a factory and brought in with a crane and set in place, or brought in on a truck and set in place with a crane. It's actually built stronger than a site-built home, because it has to survive travel.
So it's going to basically look like, you would never be able to tell from the street
No.
view that it's different than any other house constructed in the neighborhood?
No, you won't be able to tell the difference.
Any other questions?
You spoken to the neighbors about it recently? Your nephew's here,
My nephew's here.
and he's all on board?
Yeah,
I hope so. He's your nephew, right?
and I'm the neighbor that the driveway's being shared with. I own that property now. And we have people lined up to purchase that are family, relatives, because it's important to me who my neighbors are.
Purchase the home that you're putting there.
No, they're going to purchase the home I'm currently living in, which is right next door, that's going to share the driveway.
And you're going to occupy the new place?
I'm going to occupy the new place.
Okay. This is all well and good as everybody's in a family compound, but what happens when one of you moves on?
Well, that's why there'll be, there's easements and such in place and agreements on that type of stuff, so that when that happens, the proper legal paperwork is in place.
Your nephew here?
Yes.
Nephew, come on up. And can you talk into the microphone as your uncle was doing, and you can be sworn in by Tim?
Son, swear testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Can you state your name and spell, please, for the board?
Name is Tyler Thomas, Tyler Thomas.
Thanks, sir.
Where do you live?
I'm at 22 Brent Road.
Okay, and that's adjacent to this property?
Yeah, it comes up man, and then there's a cul-de-sac, which is my property abuts his property, and then adjacent to both our properties is this flag lot, if that's what you want to call
And you have no objection to this plan?
it. Zero. Thrilled about it.
Okay. Any other questions?
None for you, Mr. Thomas, so thank you. But I do ask the audience, does anyone have, in the audience, have any questions of Mr. Thomas?
Come on
Come on
up.
up. Will it be a question or?
Just a question.
Okay. And can you state your name and where you live?
Sure. I live, Jeff Heller. I live on 24 Henry Road.
And how close are you to his property?
I am one road behind his.
It's like a block away.
Yeah, a block away.
So you received notice of this hearing, is that why you're here?
Yes.
Okay, great.
There's not going to be a road or any thing going from Trooper Road to Branch, right? It's just all going to be.
No.
No. Okay.
Mr. Thomas, can you talk into this microphone here,
No,
because
there'll be no road going from Trooper to the cul-de-sac at the end of Brandt.
Okay.
my existing driveway that's there goes up far enough to where it's just like 20 feet onto the property, and that's it.
I was just worried about the park being there and then people cutting through if there was a road, that's all.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Yeah, all right, cool, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Is there anyone in the audience withstanding that would like to testify? Okay. Well, with that, Keith, I'll just ask if you could do the housekeeping
Yep.
to collect all the exhibits.
Do you have anything else that you want to say, Mr. Thomas?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. So now we have a deadline if they're granting this, so you got to move on this, because I don't know that you'll get a third bite at the apple.
No, I am itching to get this going.
Great. All right, Tina, it's our show then. So, Mr. Thomas, when you were here 4 years ago, you probably might remember, although it might have been a nightmare for you, I don't know. But ultimately, what we do is we go through the due process requirements. Due process, you've probably heard that term before, or that phrase. It means notice and the right to be heard. So once you apply for a zoning relief, the property gets posted. And this first item that's listed here is a certificate of posting, which we mark as B1 for Board 1. Do you have any objection to our including that in the record?
No.
Okay. Next item is the letter that would have been sent to the people within 500 feet. That's why I asked this gentleman about whether he had notice of it from the letter, because people who have legal standing are within 500 feet. So that would have been sent to people within 500 feet of your place, okay? And we're going to mark that as B2. Any objection to that?
Not at all.
Then there's the mailing matrix, which we're going to mark as B3, which is the people who would have received that letter, or at least who it would have been mailed to. At the post office today, you never know what's going to happen. So that's the ultimate Christmas card list for you. So you'll keep it and you'll use it in the future. Mark that as B3. Any objection to that?
No.
B4 is a certificate of notification, which basically says that the township mailed those notices that were B2 to the people on B3. We're going to mark this as B4. Any objection to that?
No.
And last but not least, we also advertise this in the newspaper, again, providing notice to people in the community if they have any issue with what you're trying to do in the community. And that goes into a newspaper of general circulation. Unfortunately, we don't get the proof of publication back until after the hearing. So what we do is we append that proof of publication and we mark it as B5 to the application file. Any objection to us doing so?
No.
Okay, and we're going to include your, what looks like a very Reader's Digest version of your application, which basically says we want to extend what we had before.
Yes.
We're going to mark that as A1 for applicant 1, right? Amended with your wife's name on it, correct? Is that okay with you?
That's perfect, thank you.
And we're going to take the file, that was the TBM file from 2021, okay? And we're going to include that in this file, and we'll mark that as A2. Any objection to that?
No.
Okay, Michael, you heard that, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we are going to pause the meeting and we're going to go deliberate in the side room. We'll be back shortly. Okay, we're back and we're going to reconvene the meeting. And with that, Mark, I believe you have a motion for us.
Yes, I'll make a motion that the application of Audie Thomas docket Z-26-02 for a variance from section 143-170 of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance to ratify and extend relief granted in 2004 at Z-04-18 and November 30th, 2021 at Z-21-14 beyond the 6-month limitation in the R2 residential district is granted, subject to the following conditions. 1. Construction placement shall be as per the application, testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case as are consistent with other applicable regulations. 2. Compliance with all conditions imposed at the 11/30/21 opinion, decision, plus order.
Thank you, Mark. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Congratulations, Mr. Thomas, and good luck, and I believe, Keith, you'd like to just reemphasize.
Make sure you do it this time, because I don't think that you'll get that extra chance, so get on your horse, my friend.
Okay, thank you. With that, we're going to proceed to our next case, and Travis, if you could read that for us.
Z-26-03, Jody Pearson, 211 Clearfield Ave. Applicant is requesting dimensional relief to permit the extension of a front porch and the expansion of a rear addition. The relief requested is for a front yard setback of 31.8 feet, where a minimum of 34 feet is required under section 143-27, and a rear yard setback of 47.5 feet, where a minimum of 60 feet is required under section 143-37A2. The parcel ID of subject property is 43-00-02524-00-7. The subject parcel is located at 211 Clearfield Ave and is in the R2 residential zoning district.
Thank you, Travis. Is Jody Pearson here? Thank you. Come on up. And
Good evening.
are you represented by counsel?
No.
Okay. All right, with that, before you get started, I'm going to again ask if Mike, if you could summarize the case for us.
Thank you again.
And Michael, before you start, handle that 34-foot, 42-foot issue, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I got one note there. Okay, thank you. Before the board tonight is a application by Jody Pearson of 211 Clearfield Avenue, seeking to extend the front porch of her home into the front yard, so that the front yard setback is 31.8 feet, where a minimum of 42 feet is required for an unenclosed porch under 143-27, and then a rear setback of 47.5 feet for an addition where 60 feet is required under 143-37A2. It's basically a house in a relatively older portion of the township, obviously done under older zoning prior to the 2006 zoning change, and actually the house was built in 1953, if I recall, and which would have actually predated the zoning ordinance. So it's an existing non-conforming house, which the Pearsons are hoping to just to expand for customary use of their home. There's no problem with the coverages from the plan submitted.
Thank you, Mike. It looks like we have a couple folks who are going to speak.
Yeah, who are the Pearsons?
This is Jody Pearson. I'm her husband. I'm Chris Valeriano.
And,
This is my architect, Joshua Suknik.
okay, so now, do you both own the property?
I own the property.
Jody.
Okay, it's in your name. That's why it's all in your name, the application?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
I just don't like public speaking.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Don't worry, we don't bite. It's fine. We're all citizens of the community anyway, so.
Okay, with that, if we could swear first you and I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Chris Valeriano.
Chris Blair.
Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Can you spell your name?
Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Valeriano, V as in Victor, A-L-E-R-I-A, N as in Nancy, O.
And I'm swearing Jody. I'm swearing just in case. Maybe you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Can you state your name as well?
Jody Pearson, Jodypierson.
Yeah.
Sir, you
Architect.
solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name as well, please.
Joshua, Joshua, Sukenick, Sukenick.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, if you could fill in what Mike didn't tell us.
I am here to respectfully request approval for variance relief from both the front and rear setback requirements on our property. When we purchased our home in September of 2012, the house was already non-conforming with current setback standards. Because of this existing condition, any meaningful improvement to the home creates a hardship. A strict compliance with the ordinance would prevent us from making reasonable and practical updates. In the front of the home, we are proposing the addition of a covered front porch. The porch has been carefully designed to the minimum size necessary to be functional and enjoyable, while also being architecturally consistent with the home and the surrounding neighborhood. We are not seeking anything excessive, only an improvement that enhances the appearance, usability, and character of the home. At the rear of the home, we are proposing to remodel the existing 3-season room into a 4-season room with a slight increase in size. The current room is not functional for our family for much of the year. The improvement would allow us to use the space year-round without changing the overall character of the property. These improvements will not negatively impact neighboring properties and will maintain the established building pattern of the area. I do have photos of some neighboring homes that are beyond current setback standards and beyond the relief we are asking for tonight. We believe the request is reasonable, represents the minimum relief necessary, and will improve both functionality and value of our home. Thank you.
Okay, with that, anything else you'd like to add before we start peppering you all with questions?
No, sir.
Okay. What questions does the board have?
Can you give us an idea of the plan, what you're looking to do, how it will be constructed, as far as the type of building structure, material, things like that?
So the addition is going to be kept in character of the existing home. The existing home is vinyl siding. The rear addition will be a vinyl sided rear addition. The front porch is kind of a standard construction with porch columns.
All right, Mr. Architect, can you lift up that microphone a little bit so we can get your melodic voice? Perfect.
Sorry about that.
This is all being recorded. You can watch yourself on YouTube later, so you can see how you did.
You know what I like to do at night, right? So the construction is consistent with the existing home and consistent with the other homes in the neighborhood.
You mentioned it was the minimum amount of variance needed. How did you determine that?
When Jody and Chris came to me with the request for what they want on their front porch, they wanted to be able to come outside, sit on the front porch. It's also an aesthetic upgrade to the front of the house, and the function sort of necessitates the size of the porch to be deep enough to have a chair to sit on and some space so you're not kicking the railing when you're sitting there. As far as the rear addition, we looked extensively at furniture placement and layout to provide function in the room and determined that that was the minimum necessary to extend further into the rear yard.
Okay, thank you.
Before you don't go away too quickly.
So this is it's a covered porch. It'll be like a gable roof that'll connect to the existing roof of the house. Is that the idea?
It's a shed roof that connects to the existing with a gable pronounced in the middle at the front door.
You said you had pictures. Do you have pictures of those? It would be helpful, as they say, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Existing is fine, and then whatever else you have. Do you have any diagrams or schematics for what you're planning to do with the property? If not, that's fine,
The
but
schematics weren't submitted with the,
all we have is a plan.
you don't have an architectural plan of what
No.
it looks like?
No. Just a site plan.
You'll have to give it up for now. We'll give it back to you.
No, I brought extra copies. It's okay.
Wonderful, you're planning ahead. You've done this before, that's a great thing.
I sit on my township zoning board.
It's on the screen.
Okay, you're putting it on the screen, okay. Great, but we'll take pictures, we'll take those.
got the pictures
That'd be
there?
great.
Sheet one is floor plan, sheet two is the elevations, the facades.
Okay.
That's on the screen.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Show them, they're the boss. They're the boss. They make the decision. I'm just here to look good.
Street, these are both taken from the street.
second copy. The plan.
Oh, perfect.
But Mr. Architect, while they're sorting out the pictures, what's the nature of this lot? It looks like on the plan that the lot is fairly standard. Is it a corner lot? Is it a flag lot? Is it a uniquely shaped lot? You know the reason why we asked that. If you sit on your township zoning board, there's a 5-part test, right? And he did a great presentation, but he's not a lawyer, doesn't know what he has to present necessarily. So why don't you tell us, how do we meet the 5-part test to establish a hardship? I mean, he covered a little bit of it at the tail end when he talked about it's not gonna change the character of the neighborhood, but what's the deal with this lot? I get it, it's an undersized lot for the current zoning requirements, and that the house was built in 53 before the 55, I believe, zoning ordinance. So what's the deal with this lot?
The nature of the lot, the shape of it, with the current setback requirements, creates an incredibly small building envelope front to back on the property. So any addition, any work on the front or the back of the house is currently already in the existing setbacks. So just the nature of the original size of the lot, based with the current zoning requirements, creates a hardship that we did not create, and we have no ability to expand either on the front or back without impacting those existing standards.
I see you're saying that the 50-yard front yard setback now already encroaches on the porch and the front portion of the house, as I look at this, right?
That's correct.
And the rear also encroaches on the house itself, it looks like, correct?
That's correct. The rear encroaches on what is an existing 3-season room that is not real functional. And that's the area that we're going to remove that existing 3-season room and recreate it as a finished space.
But I see in this diagram that it looks like it's a long, narrow, submarine-like building envelope.
Correct.
Okay, so that's your hardship, is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
So you already have, this is the sunroom, you're taking a piece off, an existing sunroom or something off, and you're adding the new.
That is correct. If you look at the back of the house, which...
From the site plan, you can kind of see it. It looks like a little addition, but you really, this piece is being ripped down.
Everything from here, and I know that doesn't help you, but everything from this part of the house here, this is the existing sunroom. This is going to get removed and rebuilt as a slightly larger sunroom.
Okay. And you're covering, and then you're covering the new deck with a canopy as well, a roof.
The architect said yes, he just nodded, but he said yes.
Yes, sorry.
You have any stormwater issues on the property?
No.
You anticipate any after the additions?
No.
Where's the water go? We know? Surface water flows which way on this diagram? We know?
Chris, answer that question. I don't know specifically where your water drains. It's a relatively flat lot.
I mean, we really don't get any standing,
Speak into the microphone, I'm sorry, sir.
we really don't get any standing water.
So does that mean that the water flows into your neighbor's yard and they're dealing with it or
No,
not?
I get my neighbors.
You get your neighbor's water. It drains well is what you're suggesting.
Correct. Does it matter that where the front porch is now and the deck is now are concrete patios? I mean, that's what's going to be covered, correct?
Correct. For the most part.
But it's already there, right? There's an existing concrete pad there, correct?
You're not changing impervious, you're saying?
There's very little change to the impervious coverage. That's noted on the site plan.
Okay, what other questions does the board have? Is there anything else you would like to add before we ask the audience if they have any questions?
No, sir.
Well, I think you were talking about some pictures. You said there's some other properties in the neighborhood that have similar improvements to them. Is that correct?
That are already sitting a lot closer to the street than our house.
Okay, so the neighborhood is the way it is, and you're not necessarily making it worse in that sense.
Correct.
Okay, and have you spoken to the neighbors?
I have not.
Any neighbors here for this application out there in the peanut gallery? Seeing none, that's a good sign for you.
No questions, I guess? And no testimony?
All nodding their heads, like bobbleheads. All right, so there's a certain laundry list of items that we're supposed to go through in the code to demonstrate that what you're planning on doing is not going to adversely impact public safety. So bear with me here. And I don't want you to tag team this, but if you don't know the answer, and your last name again was?
Valeriano.
Valeriano. Mr. Valeriano, V or B?
V as in Victor.
Okay, Valeriano. Mr. Valeriano, you can testify because you're here on behalf of your wife because she has fear of public speaking, right?
Yes, sir.
He's being a great advocate for you, Ms. Pearson, so you'll have to thank him later. Is this going to in any way change the traffic pattern in your neighborhood, increase traffic, change the pattern, anything like that?
Not at all.
You're not building this to bring in more people to live there necessarily?
No, sir. I have to.
Okay. Obviously, the construction is going to be pursuant to code, but you're not going to increase the risk of fire, panic, or otherwise endanger public safety in any way. It's not going to overcrowd the land. You described, your architect did a good job of describing what the land is like, so I don't expect that's a problem. This is suitable for the property in question. That's why I asked you the question earlier about whether others in the neighborhood have similarly situated porches, sunrooms, patios, whatever. I mean, the neighborhood is pretty diverse, I suspect. People have done things to their house
Correct.
throughout. It's not going to have any impact upon your neighbor's adequacy of natural light or air.
No, sir.
It's not going to create any burdens on public, private, or community water systems because none of that's changing, correct?
Correct.
You're not going to change the sanitary sewer. You're not adding any requirements for an EDU or anything like that, nothing like that. There's no change as it relates to burdens on fire, police, ambulance, or anything of that sort. Okay. And there's no adverse effects to the appropriate use of adjacent property. So you're not cutting off anybody's access to anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, last chance for the board. Any final questions? Keith, you want to do the housekeeping?
Mr. Valerio, you saw what happened in the previous hearing when we went through these posting, the due process requirements. And Mr. Architect, you feel free to sit down. I mean, I know you're sort of uncomfortable standing there as an appendage to this whole thing, and I apologize for that. But Mr. Valerio, what we're going to do is we're going to run through these documents, and I'm going to ask you if you have any objection to our using these. Certificate of posting, as I described in the earlier hearing that you were here for, the property was posted, correct?
Correct.
Okay, this is the certificate that says it was posted. We're going to mark this as B1 for Board Exhibit 1. Any objection to that?
No, sir.
Next item is the letter that would have been sent to people within 500 feet of your property to give them notice of what you intend to do. And if they had an interest in it, they would have come out here tonight. Obviously, they didn't, because there was a bunch of people shaking their head. They didn't have any interest in this. Sorry, it's not as sexy as others might be. So this is going to be B2. Any objection to that?
No.
This is the mailing matrix that would have been sent to people within 500 feet. Do you have any objection to us including that as B3?
No.
Next item is B4, which is the certificate of notification, which says that the letter that was B2 was mailed to those people on B3. And do you have any objection to that being marked as B4?
No.
And then, as I said earlier, we get the proof of publication of the notice in the newspaper of general circulation after the hearing typically. We don't control when the newspaper sends these things or the mail. So B5, any objection to our including that in the record when it comes in?
No.
Okay. Now, the application, since Ms. Pearson's the owner, as you said earlier, you're not on the deed, obviously, so we don't have to amend the application to reflect that, but we are going to include the application as A1. And Ms. Pearson, do you have any objection to us including that as A1? I ask you because you signed it, and that you can say yes or no to. You don't have to worry about public speaking in any degree.
No.
No, you're not going to, you have no objection to our including it.
No objection.
But you signed it, correct?
Yes.
It's your signature at the end. Just for grins and giggles, everybody in the back said they weren't sure if Jody was a man or a woman. And I said, well, the signature is too nice to be a man's. So well done with the penmanship. We're going to mark that as A1. We're going to mark the plan as A2. Any objection to that being marked as A2? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. You guys have any other questions over there on the board?
Any questions, guys?
Any questions? No, you good? Okay, with that, then we're going to pause the meeting, and we're going to go in the back room and deliberate. We'll be back shortly. Okay, before I ask for a motion, we did have one question on the plot plan while we were deliberating. I'd just like to ask and get clarification from. On the plan, there's this dark line, and it looks like there are two properties that were merged together. Is that the case? Do you know?
The side lot?
Yeah.
That was purchased with the house.
That was purchased, can you get closer to the?
That was purchased with the house.
Okay, so
Is
that's,
it all one lot right now? Is there a two lot set?
I don't think there's two deeds. Is there two deeds?
No.
Her aunt used to live there and passed, and then we had purchased it.
okay.
You're not sure, not sure if that's your property, both of them are your
Oh,
property?
it's our, it's our property.
But you don't know if
But
there's
I
two
don't know if
deeds or it's
they're-
one, it was merged, you know,
You
and
did a reverse subdivision of some sort, in essence, by having a deed into one, it sounds like.
I think there's only one deed.
I'm pretty
We
sure.
only have one deed.
You know, Mike?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change
but-
anything, we're just looking for a little bit of clarification, but
Yeah, 'cause
that whole
you're not-
property is all yours, it's part of the,
you're not adding, you know, impervious coverage or anything, so calculations, you know, from the looks of it, it's a big piece of property, but if it's only that little piece, the calculations could be tight.
okay, all right, very good. Okay, with that, Gary, I believe you have a motion for us.
Yes, I'll make a motion, the application of Jody Pearson, docket number Z-26-03, for a variance from section 143-27, section A, section 1 of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance to permit the construction of a front porch with a 31-foot 8 front yard setback where a minimum of 42 feet is required in the R2 residential district is granted. Subject to the following conditions, construction placement shall be as per the application testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case, and as are consistent with other applicable regulations.
Thank you. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Congratulations. Good luck with your addition.
One more.
Oh, we have two. Sorry.
Two,
Sorry.
the application of Jody Pearson, docket number Z-26-03 for a variance from section 143, section 37, section A, section 2 of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance to permit the construction of an expanded rear addition with a 47.5-foot rear yard setback where a minimum of 60 feet is required in the R2 residential district is granted, subject to the following conditions. Construction placement shall be as per the application testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case as are consistent with other applicable regulations.
Okay, do I have a second to the motion?
I will second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Now, congratulations. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Do it quickly, because you don't want to be back like the other people were.
all right. With that, we're going to proceed with our next hearing, and Mark, if you could read that for us.
Z-26-04, Scott and Ann Purdy, 1020 Hildebiddle Drive. Applicants are requesting dimensional relief to permit the construction of a detached garage. The relief requested is for a side yard setback of 20 feet where a minimum of 50 feet is required under 143-33.a. Parcel ID of subject property is 43-00-06-275-44-1. Subject parcel is located at 1020 Hildebiddle Drive and is in the R1 residential zoning district.
Thank you. Is Scott and Ann Purdy here? Yes, we are. Okay, you come up. Okay, and as I started the previous hearings, do you have counsel representing you, or is it just you guys?
We do not.
Okay, very good. Then, Mike, if you could introduce the case to us?
Sure, thank you. Before the board is a application by the Purdy's to put a detached garage on their property in the R1 zoning district. It's a large lot with a driveway that goes up in the standard fashion. The desire is to put this detached garage towards the planned north of the house to not incur more impervious coverage to put driveway. And also, the hardship is primarily because of the flatness of this portion of the property. It's a little bit faded here, but you can see there's some pretty steep contours back in other parts of the property, which indicate a certain steepness. And I believe that's what I can add to it.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Mr. Purdy, if you could describe any additional details you'd like to tell us about.
Do I need to get sworn in or anything?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
I do. Scott Purdy, Scottpurdy.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name, please.
Ann Purdy, ANNEPURDY.
Double header. Wow, look at this.
They're splitting your cost.
Yes. Joshua Sukanik.
Okay, thanks for reminding me to swear you in. You're up.
Yep, and that was our architect who had timing of having two at the same meeting, so. We are requesting side yard setback relief for the construction of a detached two-car garage. I actually do have some handouts. Can I kind of give those to you guys?
Yes, please.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not sure if you guys get.
Sure. Spread it around.
So what you just handed out, the big plots and the little ones here? Or is
So
this
that,
separate?
that big one, I believe, has two of the drawings.
That's the site plan and
This-
the architectural plan.
Okay.
Yep. And so, per that handout, that at least the smaller one, the first page is our Palm Beach Farms HOA. So it's about 40 properties, and you can see our property is kind of.
That's this one here?
That is correct.
All right, so let's mark these as we go. We're gonna mark your application as A1, okay? So when you refer back to them, we can make them clear on the record, okay?
Okay, yes.
So we'll mark this plan, the cover sheet or the plan of the entire development, that's A2. Any objection to that?
None.
The next item in that packet we'll mark as A3. Is that all right?
Yes.
A4 would be the next one. Is that all right?
Yes.
With the schematic, or I'm sorry, let's make A4 the photographs.
Okay. Yep.
That's how they appear in this packet. So that would be A4 and A5.
Yes.
And then the plan, the SD1 schematic design round 4 floor plans and elevations will mark as A6. Is that fine with you, Mr. Purdy?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you very much.
And then there is one more page at the back.
There's one more page. Ah, yes, there is, thank you.
You're welcome.
Letter of support, we're gonna mark as A7 then. Great.
Okay.
Sorry to get you off your rhythm there, go for it.
We're all good. So it would be, I guess, Exhibit A2, that just shows where our property is in our neighborhood. One thing you can see, even though it is small, the front, where our property meets the street is fairly narrow. And I'll touch on this later as to the hardship. On the second, I'll call it A3 then, is the site civil plan that shows just our property and where the proposed garage would be located at the end of the existing driveway. And there would be some small alterations to the driveway to meet up with that new garage. The next exhibit, which would be A4, which are the two pictures. One is a picture of our house and where that garage would go from the street, and then the next one is just zoomed in a little bit, just so you can get a visual of what that looks like.
And what's that in the image there? It's a shed of some sort?
That is a shed in the back, yes.
That's staying or going?
That would stay. That's kind of tough to tell from there, but it's actually probably, I don't know, several hundred feet back at least. It's towards the rear of the lot. That actually does show up in the site civil plan where that exact location is.
Okay, A5 is a closer look at that, it looks like.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. And then, so that proposed garage, that is shown the architectural drawings in A6. And it does not have any living accommodations. It does not have a second floor. It will not have water or heat, any type of plumbing. It's just gonna have electricity to have some lights and run the garage doors. The only utility there will be electric. And then the last exhibit, I think it was A7, is a signed letter of support from our next door neighbors, where we would be right next to the garage, where we're, I would say, encroaching on that setback on that side. And they have signed that letter of support. And that same neighbor also has a detached garage on their property that also sits in a setback area. So no business will be conducted from this area. It is really just a garage to store a couple of cars, some sports equipment, a lot of tools, and those types of things, some lawn equipment. We will meet all other zoning and building requirements as needed, especially because there will be impervious coverage issues with adding all that surface. Other reasons that we do want this garage is the house was built in 1991. Our family bought it in 2024. So as we wanted a larger house and larger property, because it does sit on 2 acres, which is great. We have 3 kids. 2 of them are here. And they get very limited screen time, so they're outside like all the time. If we were to have to stay within all of the setback areas, our architect did draw up a plan as to where it could go, and that was in our backyard. So we'd have to have a driveway go to our backyard, and that would really very drastically change the use and look of our property and take away our baseball field, our football field, soccer field that we use in the backyard. So that the hardship that we have is really the layout of the property. Looking on A3, the corner of our house at the front is only 11 feet from that side yard setback. So there is no space to put a detached garage, which the zoning laws do allow us to have one on our property without really going into that setback area. Placing it in the backyard within the setback area, as I had said, would be pretty disruptive to our property. As the rear yard is very valuable to us. So we have also allowed space on the side of our garage adjacent to our neighbors, so that we could put plantings or trees or whatever if necessary for them. And we've already talked about this. Our neighbors we are good friends with. They have a daughter that is 1 week older than our daughter, and they play together just about every day. And they said they may want some plantings or whatever, and we will do that. It is not a problem. Is there anything to add, Annie? I think that's all for now.
What's your plan for the existing garage that's already on the house?
Yeah, so that is an attached garage, and they were built in the early 90s. They are small. I have a pickup truck, and my wife drives a minivan. The truck won't even fit into it. I do have we do have a collector's car in one of the bays, and the other bay is it's got tools, sports equipment. I would keep the collector car in that garage still, and the other half of that would be. We'd like to turn it into part of it to be a mud room, since our existing laundry room, which is adjacent to it, our washer and dryer face each other because it's so small.
Oh.
And so we'd like to do that and actually maybe have a little bit more space in that other bay for stuff. But yep,
You're saying that the neighboring property has a garage that's...
they do. Yes, they have a detached garage that's in the rear setback, actually.
In the rear setback. I was going to say, because their property's a wider property, and it looks like it's off the side yard, but you're saying it's encroaching on the rear.
It is encroaching on the rear a little bit. Yes. Theirs is on the opposite side of where our house is.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes
I was-
sense.
if you can
Where-
see it.
If you can see it there, it is on the back. There you go.
So to conform to the 50-foot side yard setback, the garage would have to be farther in the back of the property, right?
It would have to be behind the house.
Behind the house.
Ultimately,
You would have to extend the driveway.
correct. And we have a propane tank that's back there too, and our chimney. So it would have to kind of be turned sideways, and then go in our backyard. It would have to be behind the house.
Okay, yeah. Is it buried? Is it a buried tank? Is that what it is?
It is a buried tank.
'Cause I can see some, I forgot that, I wanted to ask that, I see comments about vents or something, so it's underground tank back there.
It is an underground tank, yes. You can see it in A3. It's probably 20 feet behind that proposed garage.
Yeah, so if you were to put the garage back any further, it would be on top of that, you'd have to relocate the tank and all.
Correct, yes, sir.
Or you'd have to move the garage past whatever the safe distance would be from the propane tank and any underground lines, right?
But you'd have to drive over it then. I'm
You'd
not
have to,
sure.
I think it'd still have to be moved because you'd have to put the driveway over where that tank is or where the line enters the house.
So you would have to
Sure.
move the tank, bottom
Yes,
line.
correct.
And you didn't put that propane tank there, that was existing when you purchased the house?
Well, to keep a long story short, it was there. When we moved in, the propane tank was empty, and we went to get it filled, and the company said it's not in good enough condition, so we have to put a new one in. And so we did. We had in mind of like it might be nice to put a detached garage in here, and so we put it far enough back so that you need 10 feet from a structure to a propane tank, and so that we put it far enough back, or had them put it far enough back so that it would hopefully not be in the way.
Where was it before?
I would say if you're looking at A3, it would be right between the new garage and the house, right next to that sidewalk.
Where did you come up with the 20 feet and not like 25 feet or 26 feet from the side yard? You have still space between your house and the garage, the way you have it placed.
Correct. Yeah. So we wanted a little bit of space there just for walking, and then it was just that where the size of the garage that we wanted, and then Mr. Sukanik said like it looks nice when you angle the garage or angle the detached structure a little bit. I'm sorry. Oh, sure.
Let's hear about those aesthetics.
Let's hear about the aesthetics. So we did look at putting the garage in the rear yard. Obviously, as he said, it affects the ability to use the backyard. It impacts the propane tank. We looked at doing unattached garage. The layout, the roof lines were very difficult to make work. Aesthetically, it was not going to be a viable solution. And when we talked extensively about how much relief we need, the goal was to put the garage far enough away from the house that if and when the pool needs to be replaced, if there's additional construction, if there's replacement of that shed in the backyard, that would be as minimally disruptive to the neighbor's side as possible. So we've left enough room between the house and the garage, the detached garage, to get equipment through there so that in the event of other work that would ever be done in the future, it is less impactful on the neighbor's side. And aesthetically, the massing of buildings, the further apart they get, the more aesthetically pleasing they become to a certain extent. Anything closer than this did not look proportionally correct massing-wise. It just felt like it fell too close to the house. We did look at putting it on the other side. As Mike had mentioned, it's steeper slopes over there. Any other location would provide a much more significant impact on impervious coverage. We've kept it as minimal as possible, keeping the garage size down to as minimal as possible, and keeping the impacts on the property as minimal as possible to preserve the nature of why they bought the property, to have a nice, big, large rear yard for the kids to play.
Hear that, kids? They're doing this for you.
So 30-foot wide garage, that seems big. Like, Google never lies, right? It says, you're just doing a quick search, a typical two-car garage is between 20 to 24 feet. So why'd you choose 30 feet?
I did want a little bit of extra rooms because I do I'm a very handy person and I do all the work on cars myself. And so to have a workbench, space for walk behind mower, and all the bikes too. Like we have a lot of bikes and scooters and toys, sports equipment.
Stuff. This is America. We like our stuff.
And to be honest, like I also wanted a little bit larger space so that eventually, like my children are 10, 11, and 13. It won't be long, scarily, that they're going to be driving to. My oldest, it'll be 3 years. And so this will help us prepare for that and have enough space to accommodate additional drivers.
Hey, Scott, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
So Palm Beach Farms is an HOA community.
Yes.
Have you brought this to your HOA, and if so, do they present any concerns?
So our HOA is pretty unique in that the only thing that they do or have regulations on that is they mow the grass on the entrance on each side of the as you enter the Hilda Beidel Drive. And that is really all they do. So it's like a $220 a year fee, HOA fee. And that's really all they do.
So no building requirements then, is what you're telling us?
That is correct.
Okay.
The plan shows attic access to the attic of the garage. What do you plan to put up there?
Just like lumber, piece of copper, plastic, or something that I might use around the house or something like that.
So what do you have, like pull-down stairs or?
I would envision a pull-down staircase. Yes, sir.
The reference that you provided us from a neighbor on A2, where's that neighbor's property?
It would be immediately to the left. So I don't know if you can see in the middle of the lot. It's number 9.
Number 9, okay.
Yep.
And so that's the side where the garage would be going.
That is correct. Yeah. Yes.
Any other board questions?
You wouldn't have any objections to conditions placed on the approval if it's granted, that you wouldn't have any living space in there. So no one's going to live there. You're not going to do anything with the upstairs or the attic area or anything of that sort, correct?
I would not object to that, no.
Okay.
And as far as conditions, you had talked about shrubbery or vegetation. Is that included anywhere on A3? Do you show, no, I guess not, maybe you do?
It is not included in that. We haven't finalized the designs. We went more so with the size and what it would normally look like. We just haven't finalized designs until we got a variance and knew that we could actually build it.
You intend to put some kind of vegetation there?
That is correct, yeah. And I'd work with our next door neighbor on what they would want there.
So you wouldn't object to, if we were to approve this, to include some kind of condition regarding that?
I would not object, no.
Essential character of the neighborhood. You seem to have done your homework, which I congratulate you on. You came here prepared, you brought exhibits. This is for everybody in the peanut gallery to also, and anybody who's watching on television. When you come before the board, it's better to sort of gild the lily by bringing things to demonstrate what you're trying to do as opposed to people going like this. All right, so I commend you for that. The question then ultimately is, what's the neighborhood like now? You said your next door neighbor has a detached garage already?
They do, yes. That's
Okay,
correct.
any other locations in the neighborhood that have anything similar?
There are a handful of other properties in this neighborhood that also have detached garages.
Because obviously these homes were built with the built-in garage. I think this was a Gambone development, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were all put together with the garages, and now people are expanding with these separate detached garages, it seems anyway. Is that right?
Some of them are, yes.
How many homes are in there?
There's...
You don't have to count them, I'm sorry. I see your
38.
diagram, I can figure that out, so it's fine. Okay. From the perspective of the hardship, you're claiming that this is a funky lot. It's almost like a pie-shaped lot where it's narrow at the front and deep or wide at the back, right? And
That
a
is correct.
trapezoid, like...
a bit like that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're a math guy or engineer. I mean, I don't know what Mr. Architect would say the shape is, but it is kind of
both of those, yes.
strange. Okay, my geometry is not failing me. All right, so that's the uniqueness of the property, and you can't fit that garage within the building envelope. So you're saying it's irregular, narrow, it's deep, but that's not going to help you because of the propane tank, or it's not conducive to having a garage sit way back in the back necessarily.
That
right?
is exactly correct, yes, sir.
Is the pool an above-ground pool or an in-ground pool?
It is an above-ground pool, but it has a deck that you can walk out of our house onto, so it feels like an in-ground pool, but it is an above-ground pool that you don't see any.
So that was your architect's reference to if something has to be changed with the pool or whatever. Do you have any plans to make that, change the pool at
No,
any
sir.
point?
No, sir.
Kids love the pool, I'm sure.
We all do, yes. That was one of the selling points as to why we bought it about 1.5 years ago.
Okay. So isn't the essential character of the neighborhood staying the same? There's no real change to that. Minimum variance, I think your architect talked about that in terms of there's no other place to put it, right?
That is exactly correct, yes.
Okay, so your 5-part test. Now, we're going to talk about the public safety. You were here earlier when I went through the public safety list.
Yes, sir.
And I suspect it's going to be the same answers. It's not going to increase traffic. You're not bringing anybody else in here to live in that garage or anything like that. That's
That
a
is
good
correct.
thing. We don't like those kinds of arrangements in the township.
I'm
They
looking-
happen, but we don't like them.
The 5 of us and on the property is what we're looking for, no more.
No risk of fire, increased risk of fire or panic. You're not overcrowding the land. You have all that land in the back. The neighborhood's pretty much not going to change. You're not impacting the airflow or natural light that's impacting your neighbors in any way.
We are not, no.
Can you guesstimate for us the distance between where you would put that garage? It's what is this? This is north. So the westernmost wall of the proposed garage, how far would that be until you reach your neighbor's first structure, whether it's a garage or a house? Do you know?
Their house, I would say it's probably 100 feet, 120 feet.
Okay. Are they here tonight?
They are not here.
Okay. All right. So it's a pretty good distance, is what you're suggesting.
Yes, yes, sir.
It's the right answer. So the next is, it's not going to create any extraordinary burdens on public, private, or community water systems. I presume that you have public water, public sewer there?
That's correct, both, public both, yes.
So none of that's changing? You're not putting a bathroom in the garage?
That is correct. There's no
Okay.
drains.
You're
no
going to go to the
plumbing, no
pool for
water.
that, right?
I'm sorry?
You're going to go in the pool for that, right?
Not for the
Overburden the
bathroom.
sanitary sewer system, nothing with that? You're not changing any, you're not asking for anything in that area?
That is correct.
No burden on police, fire, ambulance, or other emergency services, right?
That is correct.
Your architect talked about the gap between the existing house and the intended or proposed garage. So there's access to the back. If someone needs to get a vehicle back there, is there enough space for that?
There is, yes, sir.
Okay. That's public safety issue, obviously. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
And we didn't talk about stormwater, but it looks like the property, I could say above A9 is slightly higher than your property, so water wouldn't be directed towards that person's property, it would flow around the garage. Is that
Correct. The natural flow of water, yeah, you're looking at the first page, A2.
Yes.
Yeah, it would flow from 9 to 10 down to 11. That's downhill, and then everything flows towards the street, really.
Okay. So by placing the garage there, you're not going to be causing water to flow to A9?
No,
It's just coming, it'll be redirected on your property?
No, and Mr. Sukanik has told us that, with the garage, we'll increase the impervious surfaces, and we will have to do some stormwater management with that.
Okay.
It still complies, you're not exceeding the impervious, so you're fine there, right?
Okay. Does the board have any other questions? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask any questions? Anyone in the audience with standing who would like to ask questions?
What do the kids have to say? You got anything to say, kids?
Thank you. Maybe. All right, with that, Keith, you want to just finalize the exhibits?
So, Mr. Purdy, you obviously saw what would happen before. We're going to run through this certificate of posting. The property was posted, correct?
Yes, sir.
We're going to mark this as B1, this certificate of posting. Any objection to that?
No, sir.
B2 is the notice that was sent to people within 500 feet of your home. Any objection to that being included in the record as B2?
No.
Next is B3, which is the mailing matrix of the folks who were within 500 feet of your property that would have received that letter. Any objection to that being marked as B3?
No, sir.
B4 is a certificate of notification, which indicates that the township, our lovely Tina over here, mailed all those letters to those neighbors. Any objection to that being marked as B4?
No.
And B5 is the proof of publication by the newspaper of general circulation that would have had this advertised so that people would know about it, and if they had an issue, they would have come out for it tonight. Any objection to that being marked as B5?
Oh, no.
And we're going to include in the record, which we did early on, which is A1 through A7 as your exhibits, A for applicant. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, last chance for questions. There are none, so we're going to pause the meeting and go back and deliberate for a bit.
Thank you.
Okay, we are back, and Travis, I believe you have a motion for us.
Sure, I'd like to make a motion that the application of Scott and Ann Purdy, docket Z-26-04, for a variance from section 143-33A of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance to construct a detached garage with a 20-foot side yard setback where a minimum of 50 foot is required in the R1 residential district is granted, subject to the following conditions. Construction and placement shall be as per the application, testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case, as are consistent with other applicable regulations, as well as there be no residential living in the garage, no plumbing, no heating or HVAC, and a visual vegetation of screening or fencing installed on the northern side.
Okay, do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Congratulations. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we have one final project or one final hearing to cover. And James, if you could read that for us.
Yes, next up, Dan and Kristen Moser, 94 West Mount Kirk Avenue. Applicants are requesting dimensional relief to permit the construction of a one-story pole barn on the rear of the property. The relief requested is for a rear yard setback of 7 feet 9 inches, where a minimum of 60 feet is required under Code 143-37A2. The parcel ID of subject parcel is 430009148007. The subject parcel is located at 94 West Mount Kirk Avenue and is in the R2 residential zoning district.
Thank you. And do we have someone representing this case tonight?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, are you represented by counsel? Okay, very good. Then you heard the previous hearings. We're going to ask Mr. Mrozinski to just describe what the variance request is for us.
Okay, thank you. Again, for the board's consideration is a application by the Mosers to construct a detached pole barn at the rear of their property. It is in the R2 zoning district. The rear yard setback would be 7 feet 9 inches, where 60 feet is required. Their lot is situated in a odd way in the sense that there are 2 flag lots that are behind it that change a little bit about how the property does lay out there. The pole barn is 480 square feet, so it's moderately sized compared to the pole barns that the board has recently seen. And I'd let the Mosers pick it up from there.
Thank you. And Kristen and Dan, correct? Okay, we're going to swear you guys in.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Your state name is called.
Kristen Moser, Kristenmoser.
Daniel Moser, DanielMoser.
Okay, thank you. So why don't you tell us about your projects? I see maybe some handouts for us. That'd be awesome.
Good evening, my name is Kristen Moser. My husband Daniel and I are the owners of 94 West Mount Kirk Avenue in Eagleville. We're here before the board to request a variance from section 143-37A2 regarding the rear yard setback requirements. The variance will provide the ability for us to construct a new one-story pole barn on the rear of our property. The pole barn would be 16 feet by 30 feet for a total of 480 square feet. The purpose of this pole barn is for storage, since we will be converting our current garage into a bedroom suite. We would like to install the pole barn in the rear of our property where our shed is currently located. The existing wood shed would be demolished, and the existing shed foundation would be repurposed for firewood storage. The proposed pole barn would be installed in front of the existing shed foundation. The proposed pole barn would be 7 feet 9 inches from the rear or the south of the property line, where 60 feet is required. The proposed pole barn would be 21 feet by 10.5 feet from the side or the west property line, where 20 feet is required. You should have before you the following information as prepared by Jeff Stocklos of Stocklos Design Group, LLC. The first, if you want to call it A1, drawing number 1 shows the existing site location plan. The areas depicted in red are structures to be demolished, which includes the existing rear shed, the existing carport, the existing sunroom, and a portion of the existing concrete patio.
All right, let me stop you there, Kristen. I'm
Yep.
sorry, because you're
No,
usurping my role by marking these exhibits without me knowing.
Sorry, I just,
You're on a roll.
I'm doing
But I
what
want to
the
make sure that we have these correctly. So,
yes, sir.
what are you marking as A1? You can mark them whatever you want.
Yeah. Yes, The very first page, it should be titled.
Of the document that your lovely husband handed out, right?
ZHB 1.
Okay, ZHB1, you want to mark as A1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't want to take you off your game here. So the next one would be A2, is that right? Is that what your plan was? We like it to flow,
Yeah, no problem.
or not?
Let me make
Doesn't
sure
matter.
they line
What
up.
we do in the law business is we pre-mark our things. What does that mean? It doesn't mean what order they come in, as long as they're marked. If you're going to jump around, you don't have to worry about it that way.
Do they have the one?
Sorry, I messed you all up.
That's okay.
Tim, you should have controlled me.
If there should be one from Shirk Pole Buildings, that you should have.
Shirk Pole Buildings,
Yes.
this guy, right?
Yes.
Do you want to mark that as A2, is
Yes,
what you're
sir.
telling me?
Yes, sir.
Because it's adds your flow, it's your flow.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Very good.
So
The whole packet though, right? This whole series of pages is going to be A2, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to separate the 4 picture pages over here. Okay, go ahead.
So A2 shows the proposed, It is the second one.
Now you're toying with me.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just the site location plan is what we're looking for.
So, and you want to make the Shirk A3?
Yes.
Okay, great. And what do we want to mark this beautiful application that people were joking about in the back looked like a mimeograph from when we were in grammar school? How come it got so blue? Just the printer?
Yeah, my printer.
Okay. So we're going to call this A4, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
But stop me, I mean, you know,
You're fine.
you're the boss, I'm just here to help. Okay, go.
Okay. So you also have in your possession the proposed floor plans and elevations of the proposed work to be done to the existing single-family residence.
We do, is that anything that, is this gonna be the A2 item?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Sure or yes?
Yes, sir.
It's the second page of this big
Okay.
printout, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Great, that's very helpful, thank you for providing that.
You're welcome. Go ahead. Okay, and then you should also have before you, if you'd like to call this A3, the prepared Shirk Pole Buildings document.
This document that we talked about earlier,
Yes,
right?
sir. These sheets provide all of the drawing materials and specifications for the proposed pole barn.
Okay.
Lastly, we have with us letters of support from 3 of our neighbors, and they have expressed no objections to the construction of this addition.
We need those,
Yes, sir.
please. And we're gonna mark these as well, if you don't mind. Wow, your design group, they worked it. It's on their
Yes,
letterhead and everything, so
Extremely happy, extremely lucky to have him.
that's very nice. The
Okay.
double-header architect who's still here, you might want to incorporate this into your practice here.
This is our architect on our left.
I figured he looked all buttoned up, ready to go. All right, so we're going to mark those as, I believe we're at 5, right?
Yes, sir.
So, okay. 92 West Mount Kirk Avenue, Schlack is we're going to mark as A5. Is that all right with you?
Yes.
A6, we're going to, is what appears to be William and Cynthia Gamble. Any problem with that? A7 is going to be the letter from, it looks like Stephen Warnock.
Warnock, yes.
All right, so we have those exhibits marked, pre-marked. Excellent. Thank you so much. So keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay. As you can see from our drawings, we have met all of the other zoning requirements for zoning district R2 with regards to the front and rear yard setbacks, impervious surface, and building coverage requirements. We are asking for relief for the rear yard setback requirement so that we can still take full advantage of our backyard and not have the structure too close to our existing house. We would also like to repurpose the existing shed foundation for the wood shed and create a structure, we would also like to repurpose the existing shed foundation and create a structure similar to many others in our neighborhood. I have asked Jeffrey Stocklos from Stocklos Design Group to attend this meeting, and we are available to answer any design, construction, or technical questions that you may have, and thank you very much for your consideration.
The threshold question always is, what's the hardship? Tell us about the lot. You know what that means when there's a hardship? You look like you did some of your homework, which is great.
Thank you.
Did you look at any previous videos, or you looked at the law that says there's a 5-part variance test that we have to incorporate into this program?
We have reviewed some documents from previous zoning board hearings, so we can kind of articulate the hardship.
Please do.
Yes. So, as you can see, our lot is rectangular. So all of this existing green space is green space that we have use in our backyard for our family, for our children. And then this little red rectangle in the back is an existing, much smaller wood shed that would be taken down. There's already a concrete pad where that wooden shed is.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because
Yes.
I'm nervous about when I see it at the at the property line, because typically we like to have some setback from the property line.
Yes.
So that you can maintain the structure that you put on a foundation. So is there any gap between the property line and the foundation?
There is not. That shed and foundation were put there before we bought the house.
And when was this house built, do you know?
In the 50s,
Before 55?
maybe 54.
Do you know when the shed was put in there?
It was before we purchased the house.
It wasn't in 54. But the previous owners that we bought the house from were there for 13 years. So within the last 20 years, maybe it could have been built.
And when did you purchase your house?
2018.
Now, we get that you didn't cause that to happen, but it's still a problem, just so
Mhm.
that you know.
Oh, I understand. It probably was not.
It wouldn't be
Ordinance
conforming now.
Understood.
And if you're gonna take the shed off of that, right?
Right.
You wanna improve what you're gonna put on there, is that the idea, or what do you plan on doing?
We're moving it off of that foundation further away from the fence towards our house.
So you're not gonna use the foundation then?
No, it's just gonna sit back there, essentially.
Okay,
We're not gonna
and
use it
is
besides
it,
maybe putting some wood on it or something, that's about it.
is it deep?
What do you mean, deep?
What kind, is it concrete?
It's concrete. Yeah, it is concrete. I
And
don't know
then-
I don't know how deep it is.
So if you took the shed off of there, would it be a hazard where someone could fall into it?
Oh, no.
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 It's just how far off the ground is it?
Concrete
Oh, no,
slab
it's
that's-
pretty.
One at a time, sorry, I did.
It's pretty flush with the ground.
Okay.
Yours is 7'9". You're setting it off the property line 7'9".
So currently, the shed is 7 feet 9 inches from the property line. That's the depth of the shed. So the back of the shed, the current shed that we're going to remove, is on the property line, and it comes out to 7 feet 9 inches towards our house. So that's like the
So
depth
you're
of the
not,
shed.
you're not building it up on the property line, because the overhang of the pole barn would have overlapped into the neighboring property.
Correct. Yeah, we're tearing that down, and we're moving that 8 feet from the property line towards our house. So it will not go. It'll be further away from the neighbor's yard than it is currently.
So if you look at the image on the left, that is where the new pole barn would go. And it is 7 feet 9 inches off of the back of the property, whereas our wood shed that we currently have that is being demolished is at the property line. So if that helps provide some context.
And what's on the other side of the property line?
Sorry, go ahead.
On the back,
Yes.
a neighbor's driveway.
So behind the shed is a driveway?
Yes, right here where I'm pointing the green line. And actually, the individual who owns that driveway is here this evening. And he has signed a letter of support.
Which one is it?
Steve Warnock.
Mr. Warnock, okay.
That's not ours.
No, that's,
Yeah. I'm like, that's not our house.
And what's the pole barn gonna be used for? Just storage?
Yes, just storage.
Not for vehicles?
Correct. We are not storing vehicles in there.
How big's this pole barn?
16 by 30.
Looks like you're remodeling your house and you're removing the garage you have, so that you have a small, what used to be a garage in this place, and then is that like a storage piece? Doesn't matter.
So yes, you are correct. We are taking our existing garage that we have for storage, converting it into a bedroom suite. And then off the back of that garage is a carport that, again, the previous owner put in. We are tearing that down and building in on living space in that area.
All that's within compliance, that's why.
Correct, yeah, which is why we're not here for that. But that was included in tonight's meeting, just so we can provide context as to why we need such a big pole barn.
Which property is it up there?
It is where the red, or where the blue bubble is, yeah.
Okay, and then where is the driveway in the back?
Right here where this tree line is. Go ahead.
right, here's the driveway. So it comes this way, and then it goes this way to West.
Wow. Interesting.
So it's like a property back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like landlocked almost, just with that connector?
Yeah, it comes down here, and then he's got a couple acres back in this area.
Looks like your neighbors all have accessory structures on their property line as well, right?
Yeah, this neighbor just put one
right there.
Right there.
Yeah,
You can
that's it,
actually
right there.
See it right there.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't look like it's on the line. It looks like it's straddling the line.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because their house looks like it's over the line too. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's just a issue.
Just that's not completely accurate.
Yeah.
And are those other things
business.
along your property lines there, on the side there?
These
That-
are
a
trees.
play. Then there's a
This is
play
a
structure.
playground.
But it's
Yep.
play
Yep.
structure, okay.
Yep.
So, quick question, why 7 feet 9 inches and not 10 feet?
I'll let you answer that.
It's just that's where our current shed is.
So your current pad is 7 feet 9
Correct.
feet from the property line, and you're just abutting that to put firewood or something there?
I mean, if we can, we'd store firewood behind it, but it's just we wanted it.
So there's no magic number, 7-9 was where the existing shed was?
Correct.
Put it there.
Correct. But 60 feet would put it in the middle of our yard and take up a lot of room for our kids to play.
Okay.
What is that little blue structure that's down on the?
Right
Yeah, right there.
It's a canine kennel.
Oh, okay.
Is it what?
Canine kennel?
Go ahead.
Yours or the neighbors?
Mine.
So
Does it house a canine?
No, I needed it for work. I'm a police officer, and they require us to have one, but we don't actually need to use it.
Huh.
She lives. The dog lives in the house with us.
Except when he's bad, then you put him out there, right?
Exactly. Or me.
Go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
So you're gonna have a pretty large store and a pole barn, which is standard. Do you plan on storing any vehicles in there? What are your storage uses?
No.
It'll just be a tractor. I got a wood splitter, just some equipment, kids' toys, things like that.
We chose the garage door just for ease of access for the, mainly for the tractor, so I can get out, in and out and mow the lawn rather than squeezing it through a tiny door.
So if you complied with the setback requirements, the shed would be 16 feet past the 60-foot line there, right? So it would be pretty close to the existing rear patio. It would be, an estimate here, maybe 40 feet from the rear patio?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So it would start at 7 feet 9 inches and then go 16 feet further.
Like
What?
if we comply with the 60 rule.
Oh,
it would
yes.
Put it in the middle of the yard.
Yes,
essentially.
yes. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Is there anything in that area that would, like the last hearing, there was a propane tank? Is there anything under there that would prevent you from moving it there? So really, the basis is, it's similar to what the general concept of the neighborhood is, where they have sheds on their back or side yards.
Yes, sir.
So you're kind of conforming to what the neighborhood currently looks like, and that's really that plus it gives you more green space.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
For children.
Mhm.
The addition of a bedroom, that's just an addition of another bedroom. It's not for in-law suite or anything like that, correct? You just want to have a bigger complement of rooms.
Right.
You have the need for those, obviously, or I
Yes.
presume. You have a need for more bedrooms, you have a need for more storage.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the previous family said, kids have a lot of stuff.
Stuff. It's all about stuff. You're stimulating the economy on your own. Stuff. Okay. So you saw what happened at the last hearing. Your hardship you talked a little bit about. When the existing foundation or shed pad that's there, there's no magic to the fact that it's 7'9", right? I mean,
It's just what was there. That's the number we came up with.
So you just wanted to keep it away from the concrete pad, so you didn't have to demolish the concrete pad, basically.
And far enough in the backyard.
Gives you a
to where-
little
you're welcome to let her have that microphone, and you can have the one on the table
Oh.
there. That way you don't have
I
to.
like her. I'll get close to her.
Hey now. All right. Well, 7'9's odd. I mean, the issue typically is with these setbacks is you have to have enough space behind and around so you get access to do what you have to do with it. I guess 7'9 is fine. That's typically with a shed. This is a larger structure. And you saw what the chairman was talking about in terms of if you moved it further to be more compliant. That's what we often try to do. We try to comply with the ordinance as much as possible. So I presume that you wouldn't have any real objection if you moved it to 10 feet or something like that. You really don't care in that sense.
10 feet would be okay.
You want to have your hired gun over here talk a little bit about the placement and why it's important, so that he can steal your thunder and show us the way, because
Well, as you can see, he was extremely prepared, so he can probably speak to it better.
yeah,
than
come
we
on
can.
up and tell us more about why it has to be 7'9".
Sir, you solemnly swear testimony you have to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name, Mr. Officer.
Jeffrey Stocklos, Jeffrey, Stocklos. Well, I'm Jeffrey Stocklos. I prepared the drawings. I think they did a great job explaining sort of what we were proposing on doing. Basically, we wanted to not have to demolish the existing concrete slab of the existing shed and just sort of repurpose it. So the new shed would abut against it and create a little more separation between the rear property line and the new shed. So that's sort of the area that they chose for it. The pole barn is being constructed by another company. And as you can see, they have playground equipment and some nice green space back there for the children to play. The property is only 220 feet long with a 50-foot front yard setback and a required 60-foot rear yard setback. So those setbacks alone take up 50% of the entire property. So if they put a shed or pole barn where the required distance is, it would be really close to their existing house and they wouldn't be able to take advantage of the existing backyard.
So the uniqueness of the property that you're describing is the fact that it takes up the setbacks take up so much of the property that makes it precludes the location of the pole barn in a place that ultimately would be utilitarian.
Correct,
right?
yeah. The building envelope, when you apply the setbacks, is pretty small compared to the lot size.
I presume that, like Mr. Gerdes was talking about, you could move that, that pole barn up within the building envelope, but it would then be very close, I suspect, to the back of the house. Is that right?
Correct.
Because what's the dimensions of the pole barn again in terms of the depth?
It's 16 feet deep and 30 feet wide.
16 feet. So that would bring it,
It'd be 60 feet plus 16 feet, so it'd be getting pretty close to the house if it were put where the required setbacks are.
so the plans call for removing the existing patio and the existing sunroom and the carport, right?
Correct.
And is there anything going to be put in there?
The existing sunroom leaks pretty good and is uninsulated, so they're removing it and essentially putting it back exactly where it was. There's an existing bedroom that's pretty tiny, so we're removing a portion of the existing patio to extend that bedroom, and then the existing carport is being removed for a bedroom addition as well.
That's where the bedroom's going to be, where the carport is?
Correct.
But it's going to comply otherwise?
Yes, everything with the addition complies. We wanted to show both the addition and the carport to show the full context of the project, to prove that everything else conforms to zoning standards. When you add the addition plus the carport, we're still under impervious surface, and everything else as far as setbacks complies as well.
So this A2 describes a proposed study and a proposed bedroom.
Correct.
So it's both things?
Correct.
But the bedroom's the addition, is that right?
The existing garage will be part of the study and bedroom, and then we'll expand with an addition to be, where the existing carport was, that's going to be part of the addition as well. So it's going to be a bedroom suite.
So, okay, I see on this plan that what the ultimate goal is to take the existing garage and turn it into that.
Correct, and the reason, we're getting rid of the garage, which eliminates storage, and that's the reason for the pole barn. That's where the new storage.
And where are the cars going?
Just in the driveway. There will be no new driveway going back to the pole barn. It's just going to be for storage.
And I presume that's compliant for the number of parking spaces. I haven't looked at the code for that, but I don't think it's an issue to park them on the driveway, so.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Are there any questions from the audience?
Can I make a statement?
Sure, but 1 second, that'll be testimony. So if there's no questions, any testimony? Sir, you can come up. We're going to swear you in.
Okay. I have a mask on because I'm getting over a cold.
No worries. Thank you for keeping us.
Swear testimony about
Get
the
sick.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Can you state your name and spell?
State what?
State your name and spell.
Stephen Warnick, Steven Warnek.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I live in back there. I have that driveway, and I'm very much in favor of this project because right now their shed is right on the border there, and whenever any repairs were needed, the owners had to come in there and work off of my land. I have a very large border around my property, and anytime I can get anybody to build a good fence that I don't have to build is a great benefit to me. And I haven't built any fences, but I've encouraged quite a few fences to be built. And these are good neighbors, but that's besides the point. If you keep the shed closer to the fence line, it gives them more room, plus it gives me a little more privacy. If you put the shed farther out, then everybody's going to be hanging out right at the border there. And I do have properties where kids ride bikes right up to the edge of my property and do all kinds of things. People have thrown trash on my property and built structures on my property. And, it's nice to have a good neighbor, and I think a good fence like this in a good place is a good thing, and to force them to push it farther out from the fence, I think is a negative. It might even be an idea to keep it 5 feet, have a 5 feet limit there. As for the concrete structure, that was built by a machinist. Korsniak was his name, and he probably wasn't a good concrete man. And you probably could cut that concrete right off and make it a 5-foot back slot.
Well, it didn't comply, so when did he build it, do you know?
Well, he bought the house originally in the 50s, and then he probably built it in the 60s, I would say. And I don't think things were like this back in the 60s with boards or whatever.
Well, the zoning code was 1954 or 55, as I recall, so that's when it would have come into play, but it wasn't as sophisticated as this board is right now.
Yep, that's for sure. That's, I've been going to board meetings since the 60s, so.
So, Mr. Varnick, was your comment about a fence? Is there a fence going to be installed? Is that what you're looking for, or is there already a fence?
I'm saying, don't push them out to 10 feet or 20 feet or whatever. If anything, bring it in closer, let them build 5 feet off the fence line.
Do you mean the property line?
Property line,
Is there a fence there now?
yes.
Oh, okay.
But the shed is part of the fence. The fence goes to the shed.
Got it.
So what will you do with that? Will you complete the fence?
Yes.
Okay.
You'd finish that part, which is going to be a gap now, and you're okay with that if it was a condition?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do you guys object to anything I've said here?
No.
Good.
Wonderful,
Good,
thank you.
good. All right, I guess that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. Are there it's hard to tell from here. Are there trees back there as well? Any vegetation?
There's a couple trees.
Couple trees.
On Steve's property back there.
Yes,
Okay. So you're obviously not going to disturb them.
correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anybody else in the audience like to ask questions or testify? All right, Keith, you want to finish the
Yes.
exhibits?
Since you were the last hearing, you had the benefit of all those that came before you.
Okay.
So we'll run through these. So the first item, and I'm sorry, we caught Tina unawares, so, but the first item is going to be a certificate of posting. We're going to mark that as applicant exhibit since we've gone through these already because you beat me to the punch, which is great. Don't worry, I'm not upset about it. I think we're at number, where are we? 5? No, we're at number 8, A8. We're going to mark this, I'm sorry, this is the board exhibits. Certificate of posting is B1. Any objection to that?
No objection.
B2 is the letter that would have gone to people within 500 feet of your property. Any objection to that being B2?
No objection.
The next item is going to be B3, which is the mailing matrix. That would have been all the people within 500 feet would have gotten the mailing of that notice. Any problem with that being included as B3?
No objection.
B4 is the certificate those letters were sent. Any objection to that being included as B4?
No objection.
And B5 is the proof of publication for the newspaper of general circulation. Any objection to that being included in the
No
record?
objection.
Thank you very much. We already have your exhibits. I think we've marked them all. I'm sure you're moving to have them admitted. Why don't we just add your D just for fun? We'll mark that as A8, okay? Because it's part of the file that I have here, so we might as well make it complete. Any objection to that?
No objection.
And I know that you're moving to have those exhibits admitted, and they would be so admitted. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right, full drawings. Any final questions from the board? All right, with that, we're going to pause the meeting and go back and deliberate one final time. Okay, we are back one final time, and with that, Joe has a motion to make.
You. The application of Kristen and Dan Moser, docket Z 2605, for a variance from section 143-37A2 of the Lower Providence Township zoning ordinance to construct a one-story, 16 by 30, 480 square foot pole barn with a 7-foot, 9-inch rear yard setback where a minimum of 60 is required in the R2 residential district is granted, subject to the following conditions. 1, construction and placement shall be as per the application testimony, plans, and exhibits introduced into evidence in this case, as are consistent with other applicable regulations. 2, the existing shed will be removed. 3, the gap in the fence caused by the removal of the shed shall be completed. There'll be no plumbing and no HVAC in the pole barn, and no driveway to the pole barn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Congratulations. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes the business for tonight's meeting. Our next meeting is February 26th. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. See you in February.
You don't want to keep them